We're
Dude,
here live. Just
God bless Bo Nix. That's sacrifice.
He's grabbed and he's going to be sacked.
welcome everybody to your friendly neighborhood horsepower hour. I am joined by my friends Jeremy of Broncos Unbridled, Mark of Marky Sports Denver. I think Kodiak will be joining hopefully later on in the show as soon as he's off of work. So hey, y'all get in here, join the chat as always. Respect my coach. Mike is the first one in here. That's what I'm talking about. I know he's hyped after the victory against the Texans. Let us know your takeaways and MVPs of the game in the chat. But let's go ahead and dive right into our big takeaway from yesterday's 18-15 victory over the Texans. Mark, I'm going to start with you because I thought you had a great analysis on this game, and you didn't pick the Broncos to win, but you did pick how this game was going to transpire, and I want to give you mad props for that.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. So, they say, what do they say? A broken clock is right 2 times a day. Sometimes it works out. But I was right. I guess it was like halfway. My takeaway from the game was this, man. Like, this team is obviously figured out a way to win these games.
Yeah.
Which you can talk about like style points. You could talk about, the consistencies and obviously all the things that the Broncos need to work out. But it really is kind of irrelevant at this point because we just keep winning. And because we put ourselves in a position where we're 7-2, sitting, at a really good spot through 9 games. I think now you've kind of bought yourself some time. You've given yourself a little bit of leeway to be able to work on all the issues that you still need to clean up, right? So it's important to be really excited about this team, but also understand that, hey, it's not a finished product, and I think we're just scratching the surface of where we are. But yeah, again, it was an ugly game. I knew it was going to be kind of a grind you out, tough game. And once again, the Bo Nix magic continued in the fourth quarter. So I'll never complain about a win, and it was awesome to stack another one. And I got the cowboy hat on because it was another Texas team, right? We're 2-0 against the Texas team, so I gotta pay my respect for the W there.
Absolutely love it. Jeremy, what was your big takeaway from our victory?
No such thing. Like I said last time, no such thing as an ugly win. I think it's all about your perspective. And if you like defense, there was nothing ugly about that game. Now, did we play our best? Absolutely not. But you have to give credit to the team you're playing. And that is a much better football team than a 3-5 football team. And we're on the road. It's early game. Those games, you could use that used to be a loss. You could just chalk up ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And to be playing the number 1 defense, and then they'll be like, how come they're struggling on offense? It's like, because they're playing really good football players. That's why they're struggling on offense. So, that's just the defense didn't allow a touchdown. That to me is pretty. You have back-to-back goal line stands to start the game off. That's pretty to me. And making clutch plays in the fourth quarter to win a game is always pretty to me. So
yes,
like it's hard to win in the NFL, and we're 7-2, and we started 1-2. So to me, that's beautiful.
We can overcome September Sean Payton. It's a beautiful thing, man. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat, but particularly George with this comment here. Dallas getting thumped by the Cards. I think the Cowboys are yet another team that looks like the Denver Broncos, exposed and broke, baby. Love it. But Mark, you called it with the preview of this game. You were saying the Houston Texans were going to be a desperate team in this game, man, because their playoff hopes kind of hinged on being able to get this victory. And I've listened to a handful of Texans podcasts after the game, and they all kind of feel like, it's about time to start looking at the offseason now that this loss happened, that this Broncos victory happened. But I think, man, my my biggest takeaway is that this team refuses to lose, man. And that's a rare quality in a football team. I think, again, it's been 10 years since we've had a football team with this kind of quality. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to go undefeated, but you're able to win a lot more than, give away with, belief like that. So, yeah, like I've seen it enough. Once the fourth quarter rolled around, I knew we were going to get this done somehow. And man, I got to give the defense a lot of props, man, right now. I guess kind of before we get into stock up, stock down, I'd love to hear some more takeaways that you have from the game, guys. But man, what was I just saying? I just had an ADHD total, total spaced out. What was I even saying? I don't even remember what I was saying.
Maybe my cowboy hat was
Distracting you.
Yeah.
You were talking about before we get into stock up, stock down, getting some takeaways from the game, and I think you started talking a little bit about the defense, getting into the defense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. How can I forget this, dude? It was like the Jets game. It was like the Jets game with the field position, with our special teams being a mess, and the time of possession was insane at halftime. I mean, what did we have the ball for? Maybe like 6-7 minutes? It was insane. And we saw this Broncos defense, man, not give up. They played lights out. Again, I think that you could attribute the majority of the points given up to the Texans probably from special teams. The majority of them, man, they really played and limited Nico Collins. Is it true? 0 receiving yards in the second half? Completely shut him out. And I mean, Davis Mills, good backup quarterback. So, yeah, I was kind of surprised that the offense wasn't able to honestly put up a little bit more with him at the helm. But hey, our defense, man, really, really stepped up after a sluggish first half with special teams, especially, man. So I just wanted to shout them out. Mark, any other thoughts?
Well, no, I mean, I think, you guys touched on it. I think we're going into this game. One thing that was the really big differentiator between the Broncos and the Texans and as it relates to defenses, we were the number one red zone defense and they were one of the worst. Ironically, even though they were good in all other categories. And then offensively, we were really good in the red zone, and defensively they were very bad. So it's exactly kind of how it played out. I mean, the defense was amazing. I thought Dre Greenlaw completely blew up that first goal line stand single-handedly. Zach Allen was a menace. Talanoa Hufanga was a menace. And you got it, man. This is for you, David. Like Jeremy Crawshaw, single-footedly, like Jeremy said yesterday, flipped this game in a sense of, we were always in those terrible situations where like they had a good field position, our field position was shit, and all he does is casually blast. The first one was a 67-yarder out of bounds at the 6, and then the second one, 76 yards, just absolutely cannoned it. Flips the field, ends up being huge. So ironically, in a game that special teams really wanted to give it away, the punter came through and put us in a nice position later on. So kudos to your franchise punter, my man.
I love the broadcast because, man, when he hit that first 67-yarder, dude, the broadcast, I forget who was calling it. They're like, oh, my God, what a big boot, man. Like, they were fired up about it and real impressed. Yeah, shout out to Jeremy Crawshaw. He earned his 6th-round draft spot right there, in my opinion. Yeah, Jeremy, any other shout outs before we get into stock up, stock down?
Yeah, now that you're talking about special teams, I just want to point out, there's a lot of negative things that people are going to say about the special teams, obviously, and the offense, but all 3 of those phases made the plays they had to make in that fourth quarter. They all rose to the challenge. Crawshaw punting, Will Lutz kicking that field goal, and you needed both a defensive stand. They had the ball with 1:15 left in the game, and we got the ball back at 1 minute. So, like, that was an impressive, like, they had just as much opportunity to go down and make their own fourth quarter, magic happen. And the defense said, no way. Zach Allen puts that pressure on him on 3rd down, makes Davis Mills have to throw it away. And then it's bow time. And when you absolutely positively have to have it, he comes through. And that is what is like, that's a superpower, right? Like that's what you want in your quarterback. You want a guy who's clutch. And it doesn't matter what happened the rest of the game. When you have to have it, like, do you shrink or do you, or do you come alive? And that's what he does. And that's what the offense does. The whole belief of the offense, everybody on there believes that they're going to make the play to win it. Dobbins made a nice run on that last drive as well. And then, I had a question for both of you. I was going to save this for later, but now that we're on it, what did you guys think of the Sean Payton Will Lutz moment when Will Lutz is trotting onto the field to kick a field goal to win the game?
When I saw it live,
and he just goes, Will, and he looks over. He's like, right through, and then Will just goes, okay. And I'm like,
I love
why
that.
are you talking to your freaking kicker right now? I like just leave him alone. But he nails, so he knows his players.
If it was a 50-some yarder, I'd have been worried. But what is a chip shot? I'm like, he ain't lying, dude. Yeah. Right through. Let's get the hell out of here. I love it. What did you think?
I loved it. Yeah, but
in the moment, I was not a fan of it, man. I'll be honest. I did not like that, but yeah, I think it's cool to have that charisma coming from a head coach, and yeah, man. Like, shout out to special teams that were good in the fourth quarter. They were terrible in the first three.
Yep.
I'm curious. I got a question for y'all. We'll start with Jeremy here, but what did you think of, a big debate has been the play calling? I have still seen on Twitter, I guess I shouldn't be surprised about that, people are still saying Sean Payton needs to give up play calling duties. I'm not asking you about that, but how did you feel the game was called? Yeah. How did you feel about it?
Well, I mean, part of that has to do with the fact that CJ Stroud went out too. You have to factor that in. Like, once that happened, you kind of downshift into like a lower gear because you're like, don't go crazy. You don't need to. Let's just be smart. Let's, Sean likes the screen game for a few reasons. And like the screen game is what it always comes down to with this play calling, like, stuff. It's an extension of the running game. It gets the ball out of Bo's hands. It gets completions. Bo's good at it. And we have guys that will block. Like Pat Bryant yesterday was a blocking maniac. So like, I understand why you want to try to do it. You want to spread people out there fast. The commentators kept saying like, you can't be doing the screens on this team because they're so athletic. But like, he's also setting stuff up for later, and you got to like try stuff. So like, you got to like move people out, move the line of scrimmage, that kind of thing. So it's not always just like the immediate, like this play worked, so it's a great play call, or this play didn't work, so it was a bad play call. That's what people don't always understand. So I think yesterday, Mark, I'm going to toss to Mark because Mark thought the play calling yesterday was really good. And so I was kind of like, there were some calls, obviously every game we were just like, oh man, that didn't seem to work, or that I didn't like that in that situation. But like, go ahead, Mark, you tell me what you think with that.
So I got distracted by the comment. Somebody shouted me out. Bashir, I appreciate you, man. Yes, I am Lebanese, as you can see by the flag. Anyways, I thought the play calling yesterday was really good, man. I really liked it because and I went back and watched it again, and you can see, dude, Sean Payton was dialing guys open, man. There was guys streaking open a lot. I mean, yes, Bo was missing some of them. Some of them got, I don't know if one of them got tipped at the line, but he missed it a little bit, but nonetheless, dudes were open and guys were dropping a little bit earlier too, right? We had a little case of the drops, but I liked how, they came out with the run, and not just the run, the specific types of running that they were doing. They were running like a lot of the duo blocking. They were doing a lot of the wide zone. The cutbacks were there. They were really getting into a rhythm there. They tried to kind of loosen him up a little bit by testing him deep a couple times. Didn't really work out, but I thought he was doing a lot of things to set the guys up. And then people say, oh, well, they always get on him. They're like, we're running it at, 6 yards a carry average, and Sean just stops. The thing people don't like, I don't know if they just don't realize it in the moment, but like the last two drives before the half are basically, we're in 2 minutes. We don't have the luxury of just running it. But then we come out in the second half, we commit to running. We have a drive where we get 9 yards on first down. We run it again on second, we get stuffed. We run it again on third, we get stuffed. And my thing is like, I can live with that because you're trying to do something, shit, whatever. It doesn't work out. It is what it is. But I thought he did a really good job of kind of balancing everything. And then especially at the end of the game, he started dialing up Bo Nix to run, right? Even with the one play where Bo Nix took off, I felt like it was a one read. If it's not there, take off and run, because they really intentionally moved the pocket over. And he took off running. And then they called the quarterback draw again. I thought he was really locked in. I thought the play calling was really, really good. And I just feel like it's such a lazy take to always blame the play calling when there's so many factors that go into it. So yeah, I thought the play calling was overall pretty good. I just thought the execution wasn't always there. And dude, the Texas defense is damn good.
Mm-hmm.
I know they didn't have CJ Stroud, but their defense is legit, man. They're flying around. Jalen Petrie ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Al Shair is ridiculous. So yeah, I think it's that's something that you have to factor in too. But I like the play calling overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's not perfect, never going to be perfect, but
it was going to be tough because again, you brought this up in the preview. The Texans, they're an incredibly fast defense. They're going to be able to take care of the short game stuff that we do so well. They'll be able to take care of it well for themselves. And you saw that early, but man, I was real impressed with some of the plays that Sean Payton had designed, just weren't executed, whether it was for drops or, missed throws from Bo. I want to give a shout out to the protection. I thought we had good protection, even with their, star pass rushers coming off the edge. Thought the offensive line did a good job yet again. But yeah, he had guys open. And to win this game, that was my one thing I felt about coming into this game, that Bo Nix was going to have to hit some deep shots in order for us to win the game. And I guess both of those, two of the deep shots that he hit went for touchdowns, with Cortland Sutton and to RJ Harvey. That was another beautiful play, drawn up by Peyton. So I love what we saw, as much as you can, from giving up 18 or scoring 18 points, right?
Well, yeah, but here's the thing about that, right? I mean, look at the Texans. They were averaging giving up 15 points a game, right? They played the Rams week 1. The Rams are a damn good offense.
Mm-hmm.
Held them to 14 points, lost. They played the Buccaneers, damn good offense. Held them to 20 points, lost. Jaguars scored 17. Ravens scored 10, but they didn't have their quarterback. And then the 49ers last week scored 15. I mean, this defense is not – they're not just they just played a whole bunch of crappy teams. They're holding really productive, really good offenses to low amounts of points. So us scoring 18, it's above the average, but it's really right in line with what a lot of the elite offenses, quote unquote, were scoring against them too.
Mm-hmm. I got one more question for y'all, I guess, before we can get into MVPs and stock up, stock down. But David's bringing up a great question here. 3 takeaways. I'll read the whole thing and then get into the question. Number 1, Sean doesn't see RJ as a true running back. 2, our defense is still number 1 in the league. And 3, special teams not so special. Absolutely. Jeremy, we'll start with you. What do you think about this statement? I find it interesting about Sean does not see RJ as a true running back. I think there might be some legs to that, but I'm curious what your thoughts are, and how do you think Sean Payton sees him?
I think he sees him as a rookie that needs to get better at pass protection, but can do more than just run the ball. So in one respect, it's he likes to get him out and get him, running routes and doing that kind of thing, which obviously he did and paid off and tied the game up on that touchdown. But he does not fully trust him to be back there doing the pass protection yet. So in that sense, yes. But I mean, he had 3 touchdowns last week. He had another touchdown this week. I don't know how much, if he's not a true running back, and that's pretty good production for a guy that he doesn't trust. So, there are certain things that obviously he needs to get better at. He's going to obviously put more trust in JK for that kind of thing. But I think RJ is doing great. And I think the last couple of games, he's really blossomed into, somebody who's a true weapon and a true joker that he wants to use him as.
Mm-hmm. Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he doesn't see him as a true running back. I think he really wants to mold him into that receiving threat out of the backfield. He's had that every year that he was in New Orleans. and he's tried to really find that here in Denver. I think he was really hoping Jaleel could be that, utilize them in as much of that role as possible, but it never really came to fruition. But I think he wants to find his Reggie Bush, his Darren Sproles. You know, who do you have with Mark Ingram? There was a lot of guys that he had that were, you know, kind of the scat backs that, you know, and that's what he had a lot like in Darren Sproles. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. Darren Sproles obviously got a little bit more wiggle, but I think that it's always easier to get a running back to become a true runner than it is to develop them to be a guy that can be a weapon that you can utilize out of the backfield.
How often have we tried that? Yeah.
Was that?
I said, how often have we tried that? Like, that's a great point, Mark.
Yeah. So I feel like if push came to shove, I mean, like, let's say if something happened with J.K. Dobbins, sure, I think, you know, Bidet would get a lot of the carries too, but I think he'd be really confident in RJ from a standpoint of being able to run the ball and pick that up quickly. But yeah, pass pro is definitely still going to be a concern. But I think he trusts RJ a lot. I mean, 4 touchdowns in the last 2 games. You definitely trust the guy doing something.
Yeah, I love the fact that you brought up Sproles and Bush. So, yeah, maybe like, not to put words in David's mouth, but I'm going to attempt this. Maybe as a true running back, maybe the way that I read that is maybe more so like a workhorse. Yeah, like guy that could take 20 carries, pound the rock type of guy. And maybe he can, like you said, like develop into being a little bit more of that. But in terms of just being a jolt of lightning type of running back out of there, I mean, we've seen a lot of flashes so far this year, over the last couple of weeks specifically. So, yeah, maybe the expectation for him to be the next Alvin Kamara, maybe that's not exactly the right comp. Maybe it's more of like if Darren Sproles had an NFL running back body, maybe he'd look a little bit more like RJ Harvey out there. So, yeah, just my 2 cents.
No, I agree.
Shall we get into stock up, stock down? Jeremy, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Yeah, all right, let's see here. Harvey was one of mine because I just think like he's making big plays as a rookie.
Leading receiver this week, right?
There you go. So like, he's figuring out ways to use him. I'm going to give the first stock up to the entire cornerback room for just stepping up in the absence of PS2 being gone. Riley Moss, Jahdae Barron, Jaquan McMillan, and Chris Abrams-Drain all played very well. I didn't feel like there was anyone particular that they could pick on. And I think people need to get over the fact of like, I think, you know, they had one over the top. I think Nico Collins caught one over the top on Riley, and people are like, oh, Riley. But it's like, dude, you don't understand. Like, they're going to make catches no matter what. You're playing against some of the most unbelievable athletes on the planet. It's not a matter of like, is the other team, you're not going to just shut people out. PS2 doesn't shut people out. He's the defensive player of the year, but it's a matter of being in position and making the tackle right away and not letting, you know, that happen over and over again. And he had a nice pass breakup on 3rd down there that I remember. So I just felt like all of them. I was really upset when they tried to flag Chris Abrams-Drain on that hit, because I was just like, what do you want him to do? It looked nasty. It was nasty for the fact that he just bounced off the turf like that. I'm a big CJ Stroud fan. I don't like to see any of that, but that's on him, honestly. Like, he slid late, and that's what happened. So, like, everybody who is all up in arms about Bo running more, like, those are the types of decisions that, like, you're playing with fire every time he does it. So, remember, Bo broke his back last year because he got hit on a run. So, you just have to know when and where. And I'm hoping CJ Stroud's okay, but Chris Abrams-Drain, I just felt like he really stepped up, and the whole defensive backfield, honestly.
I love that. Absolutely love that first shout out. Mark, who do you want to shout out? First stock up.
Oh, this is a special one, man. And this is to the legend himself, made history yesterday. Mercedes Lewis, baby. 6 snaps. I get it. But oldest tight end in Broncos history, oldest player to ever be activated for a game. Was just kind of chilling on his couch, comes in, lays a couple blocks for us. So that was a big. that was a big stock up. But my big one, man, is and we know Zach Allen's been a beast, so I don't even have to rehash that. But Talanoa Hufanga, holy hell.
Dude.
Holy hell, can Talanoa Hufanga play? That dude is absolute nails. He's so fun to watch. He's everywhere. I thought he was phenomenal. So, yeah, huge kudos, huge shout out to him. And then my man, Pat Bryant. Always, you guys know how I feel about Pat Bryant. He does the dirty work, and what does he do yesterday? Yes, he has 2 catches for 20 yards. They're the biggest 2 catches of the game by far, both on third down, both on drives that led to points. His awareness, he just does everything right. It seems like this guy doesn't seem like a rookie. So love me some Pat Bryant. Was love to see him looked for in the clutch times. And dude, Bo needs another option on third downs. Teams were starting to really pick up that Bo loves to throw to Cortland on third downs.
Yeah.
Well, what is he? How did they counter it yesterday? They just hit Pat Bryant twice across the middle. So Pat Bryant's a huge stock up for me.
Absolutely.
Love what we saw to Pat Bryant, man. And with Mercedes Lewis, man, I thought he made some pretty good blocks out there. For some reason, I only thought he had 4 snaps, so 6 snaps. I'll have to go back and watch the tape, but with him out there, I thought he did his job. I don't get how people are complaining about that signing when he's not even on that, the 53. Man, he's just an elevation, man. I think he came in and did his job, and that was
blocked
awesome
Will Anderson on his first block.
Yeah,
first snap out there, and he just held him like this. It's pretty crazy.
Old man
it was
strength
good for a big run.
Yeah.
Now stock up, and this is a weird stock up because again, it wasn't his best game, but I'm gonna piggyback on what. Oh, come on now. T Fishes had to say. I'll read his comment and then I'll build on that. Stock down. Fans who expect veteran quarterback play from Bo, who's on his second year. Yes, he gets jittery and misses easy throws, but he's so clutch and he's definitely elevated this whole franchise. Absolutely. My stock up. Hey, it is another Bo Nix stock up. I know yesterday I said stock down for the improvement meter, but this is horsepower hour, man. Stock up. He led us on another fourth quarter comeback, baby. And I know that I think George had another comment in here. I'm tired of people urging more runs for Bo. Given what happened to Jaden and CJ, he should choose to run judiciously till we get to the playoffs. Don't need another broken back or worse. And that's probably, to George's point, why you didn't see Bo Nix run really until maybe the last couple drives of the game or so, right? So, I mean, he had daylight all game, it seemed like. I was driving me crazy, but Bo Nix does a great job of when he chooses to run, he avoids contact. He is very, very good with that. And I think that while I will still urge for him to run a little bit more, it's maybe not on designed runs because with some of that, you might be taking some hits. But at least with scramble runs is that he's shown that you can trust him, I think, a little bit more than what specifically Jane Daniels has shown when he chooses to run the ball. Like that man just does not avoid contact. And yeah, that's a whole other conversation about Dan Quinn leaving him in there and all this stuff. But I think, George, that's how Sean Payton and Bo Nix are looking at it right now, man. It's like they don't really want to run until they absolutely have to. And if it means keeping them healthy, shoot, I'm all for it. Not a pretty game statistically from Bo Nix, but he made clutch plays when we needed him to, baby. And he hit some deep throws. The one to Cortland right after missing Evan Ingram on that wheel. Man, that was a beautiful play from Sean Payton to get Evan Ingram open for that touchdown. And the one from even though he missed it. But yeah, the other throw to RJ was great. So Bo Nix, he's getting my first stock up. And Jeremy, we'll go to you again. Do you want to do a stock up or stock down?
I'll do a stock down, but I want to just piggyback real quick.
Yeah.
Go my Bo Nix rant mode for a second. I'm so tired of it's always something you got to complain about with Bo Nix. I don't understand what is going on. The kid
That's how
is
this fan base is.
Dude,
like to be happy,
we
bro.
are the most entitled fan base. Some of us, I'm not gonna say everybody because obviously not everybody, but we act like we've been like crushing it the last decade. Like we haven't. Have you guys lived through this? Like, what are we like? It's like we've been walking through the Sahara Desert and we got a bottle of water and we're like dumping it on ourselves instead of drinking it because it's like, oh, no big deal. Like, oh my gosh, dude. If he runs, then it's like he's not hunting. If he's hunting, then he should have ran for it. If it's just like, guys, he's 7-2. If anybody would have been asked before the season started, your quarterback is going to lead fourth quarter come from. You started the fourth quarter behind 4 times this season, and he's 4-0, and you're complaining about like some missed passes or whatever. Like, do you care about how he plays in the first quarter, or the fourth quarter? Like, you're going to have to pick something. He's not going to be everything on day 1 or year 2. Like, let's just chill with that. Like, he is doing so freaking great for what we look. Yes, the Russell, like, remember where we were. We're still paying that contract, and you guys are complaining about a guy who's clutch week in and week out. I'm just so tired of that. I hate the freaking like, oh, well, I don't know. When's he going to be a top 15? He's already top 10. Like they put the stats up. He has better stats than John Elway did his first 25 games. Let's just knock it off with that.
Remember, he'll be a top 5 quarterback in 3 to 4 years, right? That's what Sean Payton said.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
still
so
got
see me in
time.
4 years. If he's not then come with it. It's like, dude, this kid, I just love everything the kid is made out of. And for him to be like, oh, well, his footwork's a little bit this, or just the nitpicking of a guy who's already elevated your franchise that stunk for the last decade. Like, stop. Just stop.
Mm-hmm.
Preach.
All right, there we go. Get that out of the way.
People forget. Yeah, I got to piggyback on that too now, Jeremy. Feel free to get in on this, Mark. But
right.
Yeah, I'm getting.
Do we not forget where we were a few years ago, where our quarterback was the biggest meme in the entire NFL? Where he's more concerned about his social media posts and selling his merch and all that stuff, wearing his own jersey to practice. Who does that?
Seriously,
his own office in the facility. What are we talking about? His own separate parking spots. Guys, man, Bo isn't any of that. All he does is just focus on football, man.
Yep.
He's gonna get there, man. If he can play this way in the fourth quarter, eventually, man, he's gonna find out how to get past that mental block to unlock that sort of play in the first half. He has to.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. So for the third piggyback, and I made like, I think 2 separate videos just because like one of them was just for my mental health because I was just like down this rabbit hole. Because you guys are absolutely right. Like, it drives me crazy. There's never anything that you can be, it seems like anybody can be satisfied with, right? We live in a world now where you want the quick fixes all the time, which I get it. Everything's fast and easy and convenient. But people just, they're so quick to forget that like we tried to Band-Aid fix everything for so long and all it was garbage and dog shit. But last year, everyone all the Bo Nix doubters were like, well, he can't win close games. He's a check down merchant. He's bad in the red zone. He's bad against the blitz. He's bad on third downs. So he comes out this year, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the red zone. He's one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz. He's really solid on third downs. And all he's done is win close games and have, the NFL lead right now for fourth quarter comebacks. And then they're like, oh, but he can't do it for the first 3 quarters. It's like guys just don't realize that the overnight sensation and like a quarterback coming in and taking the NFL by storm doesn't happen. Jaden Daniels happened last year. That kind of faded off. CJ Stroud happened. That naturally faded off. And I think both those guys are going to be really good players, but it's going to take a lot of time. Josh Allen was terrible for the first 2.5 seasons he played in the NFL. He was awful, right? And it makes you think, like, don't the Jets wish that maybe they committed more resources and more time for Sam Darnold? I'm sure the Giants wish the same for Daniel Jones. It's like insane. You can look Baker Mayfield, right? The Cleveland Browns, they just sat there, gave up on him, and look what he's become. So things are going to take a long time. And the good news is not only are we committed to him, we've got great infrastructure around him to be able to build it. And one last point before I throw it over to my guy Kodiak, what's up, man, is that People on my Twitter today, I think they were Texans fans, but whatever. They were just fans of other teams, and they were like, "Well, he has the best defense. Like, he's lucky he has the best defense." Why should we apologize for Bo Nix having the best defense in the NFL? Do people forget that Tom Brady, in his first 5 years of playing in the NFL, was an average quarterback at best? I'll take that to my grave. He was an average quarterback that was taken to Super Bowls. He played very well in the clutch, but he was taken to Super Bowls because he had the best defense in the league and phenomenal special teams and just a coach that was like doing a lot of analytical stuff. And then he became the GOAT into his 30s, late 30s. He was playing the best football of his career. So, yeah. Why is that something that it should be used against Bo Nix, that he has the best defense? You know?
Hey, the defense didn't score 33 points against the Giants. I'll tell you that much.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
Every Super Bowl we've won, it's been because of the defense, right?
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, 97, 98 was like Terrell Davis time, but yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, we've just had better supporting cast around a quarterback that might have been a little past their prime, even though they're playing, still good football.
Well, I don't think.
Right?
I mean, Elway had 120 yards in Super Bowl 32.
Yeah,
passing.
Yeah, he didn't pass
did he even throw for a
Jack
touchdown, or maybe had a pick. I don't know. Like
now he was the MVP in the next one, but yeah, that first one didn't throw for much.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah, they're down bad when they're trying to get at us for how we're winning games.
I know.
Man, that's crazy. But Kodiak, give us your thoughts right now on Bo Nix, baby, and this performance against the Texans.
I'm going to be honest, like, this is a tough pill to swallow for me to, like, come on here and say, but had you told me at this point, like, before the year had began, that the Broncos would be 7-2, I would have thought Nix would be further along in his development than he is right now. Mm-hmm. Because the good news for Nix is that we have very strong infrastructure, as Mark had alluded to, that we have the means to develop this quarterback. And honestly, we can be patient. Like, this is a team that can lift up a quarterback even when he doesn't have his best day. But the best thing about it is when he does have the best day, he can lift up a team that's not playing very well, especially, we saw that against the Giants. We saw that against the Eagles, But overall, I get why people are frustrated. And it's like quarterback development's not linear. Like, just because he had a great year last year, it doesn't mean that automatically he's going to come in and just be better statistically, analytically, film-wise, or whatever. Like, yes, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. I don't think a lot of people are, whatever. I don't think a lot of people are very, I don't know how to put this. It's really tough for me to put into words what I want to say, but I think the fan base is a little impatient right now with our quarterback, and can't say I blame them, but also, like, you got to look in the mirror. Okay. Do you want to go back to what we had from Peyton Manning to Bo Nix? Like, do you want to go back to that? Because ultimately that's what happens. We were in a carousel for a long time, and now, he's made of the right stuff. He does all the right things. He can clearly lead the team. He was voted a captain even before they even decided on him as a starter. So that's how I'm feeling about our quarterback. Like, would I like him to be further along? Yeah, I'm sure we all would, but he turns it on when it matters most, and that's completely fine.
Facts.
That's what I care about. W's. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, we all want better stats. We all want the pretty, like, we could say this and that, but like, winning, you absolutely have to have it to win the game. He wins the game. And that's, to me, that's the proof of how far along he is, because that is not easy to do. Very, very, very few people in the world are able to do that, and he can do it.
I'll say this to your point, Kodiak. Yeah, like, if we talked about before the season, we're 7-2 going into this Raiders matchup. I would have expected Bo Nix to, probably have a better stat line, right? Totally. I'm right there with you. One surprise, I think, where he's excelled has been in these fourth quarters, dude. I did not expect him to be this money. And again, was the Chargers loss? Was that the one that I'm like, man, this is your fault? But man, like, in the fourth quarter against the Colts, man, I know he threw that interception, man, but he came down to lead that. What should have been that winning kick that ended up being missed or whatever. But yeah, like, I've loved what we've seen from him. Give us quickly, Kodiak, a few stock ups from yesterday's victory.
Yeah, and real quick, before I touch on that, I do want to mention something else. I remember David and I came on that post game after the Chargers game, and we were just like, man, This team just doesn't have the killer instinct, and it's flipped like that.
I know.
Flipped
Right?
overnight. So great to see that we have adjusted right there. But stock up, stock down, man, Darren Rizzi, it's pathetic. It's like there's just no other word other than like it's just terrible. It's pathetic. Like I've said this a lot on Horsepower Hour. I get why they fired Kotwica last year because you had the Casey blocked kick, you had the punting in Cincinnati in overtime, you had the Chargers free kick. All three of those completely inexcusable. Can't happen. What also can't happen is what's been going on throughout our special teams, like, I don't know, during the game or whatever. You lost 3 points on the blocked kick. You gave Houston 3 more points on the muff punt. You allowed Jalen Knoll to go for like 45 on the punt return, 15-yard penalty on the long snapper for a late hit, holding on punt coverage. Like, come on. Like, special teams is just getting dog walked. And while it did not sink us yesterday, it did sink us against the Colts. So that is a game that you could chalk up to a special teams loss. You very easily could have lost against the Jets, because they started at the 50 basically all game long. So stock down, Darren Rizzi. I didn't think it was possible for us to just keep going lower and lower, but that's where we're headed with Darren Rizzi as well. Except Crawshaw and Lutz, stock up. You guys are absolute demons. But as far as the rest of the team, like Hufanga, oh my God. Oh my God, he's my next jersey. I love me some Talanoa Hufanga. Okay. Just absolutely flies around out there on the field. Greenlaw, I was saying all offseason that Greenlaw was my number one free agent target for the Broncos. I thought he was the guy who could have helped us the most out of anybody available. And it's only a matter of time before Singleton's out of here and we get a Greenlaw, Sternad inside linebacker duo. Zach Allen, best player on the field yesterday, hands down, for either team, in my opinion. But those guys played absolutely amazing. But stock up on offense, Pat Bryant, man. You guys probably already talked about him, but man, he just keeps delivering when it matters the most. And I'm just so happy for him. I didn't like the pick when it was made. I didn't think, I was like, all right, how much is this guy really going to contribute year one? But also the young guys, stock up RJ Harvey, Jade Barron too. They keep playing well. They keep making plays when it matters most. And, during the Super Bowl 50 years, we got contributions from a lot of key young guys. So that was pretty big too.
Mm-hmm. Dude, well said, Kodiak. I feel like you pretty much summed up everything else that we needed to hit on. I guess I'll give a quick shout out again to Jeremy Crawshaw. I think he flipped the momentum of the game, like you talked about, Mark, with his punts there in the second half. He was fantastic. I guess Sean backpedaled on those comments about we'll find somebody to fix the special teams, completely put it on the players, man. You saw he call out Luca Evans, kept calling him Devin or Evan or whatever it was.
I think he called him Evans, like Luca Evans, like his last name.
Oh,
Evan.
He's like, my name's Luca.
The best is the comment. Somebody was like, calling him Evan is such a sweet flex or something like that. And I was like, yeah, sure, makes sense. It was really funny though.
Like, no, we got to keep
pissed.
this professional, Sean. It's Luca. Yeah. Come on now, man. That was funny, but man, yeah, I almost wish we had whatever his name was, our special teams coach last year. Man, we only had like 3 of these blunders. Yeah,
yeah.
The assistant
maybe we can
guy,
bring him back.
Banjo.
Yeah, he's with the Jets. He absolutely dog walked Rizzi 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah. George knows ball, man.
You over there, what do you think?
George, opening up the can of worms.
What do you think? Yeah, I'm pointing at you.
Well, Mark did admit yesterday.
I got him too.
Yeah, that what was it, Mark? I'm not even going to paraphrase for you. Tell us about what needs to happen for you to, to buy this Jeremy Crawshaw worth a 6th-round pick type of thing.
Well, he needs to be like, to justify a punter being a good draft pick, you've got to be like a top tier punter for many, many years. But I'll admit it, I will admit it this year if he executes a nice fake punt, whether it's throwing or running, something we can get a little creative. But I went down a little rabbit hole at work today when I probably shouldn't have, because Tommy Townsend was having a hell of a game too. And I was like, you know what? Let's look at the punters. Let's look at all the best punters in the NFL. This year and over the last few years. And a vast majority of them are undrafted guys. But then there are some really good guys that were drafted in like the 3rd. There was a guy drafted in the 3rd round, I think. It was crazy. I think the Jets took him. The best part is the Jets drafted him, I think, in like the 4th round. But then now he's one of the best kickers, but for another team. Typical Jets. But anyways, and it was like, a big majority of them do get it. But I think, listen, instead of like, instead of making it a big thing, I just want Jeremy Crawshaw to be very good for a really long time. And I think it'll be very much worth the pick. So, because it's easy to say like you could have gotten somebody else, but we ultimately could have gotten somebody that was a dud, and then it is a good pick. So he's doing a great job, and it's really nice to see, especially after a really rough offseason that everybody was freaking out about.
Mm-hmm. Shall we get into some?
We're gonna throw 2 more stock ups real quick.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins, I thought, was seeing the field really well yesterday. He made some really good runs, softened that defense up a little bit, and that run at the end of the game was really nice. We needed, everyone felt great when Bo got that long scramble, but we were still at the 36, and J.K. Dobbins got 2 more runs for another first down, made them kill their 2 timeouts. So I thought he played really well. And my last one was Jonathan Franklin Myers just doesn't get his due, but he was a madman yesterday too. I mean, Zach Allen, Hufanga, of course, but like Jonathan Franklin Myers was a menace. So I just want to make sure he gets his due.
Yeah.
I have 2 more stock downs real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Troutman, he misses blocks every week. Like, I don't know what I'm looking at when it comes to Adam Troutman. Like, he's like Lil Jordan Humphrey last year, where I'm just like, man, I feel like this guy just plays worse and worse every time I watch him. And then I don't remember hearing Sherfield's name at all yesterday. He's been invisible. Like, I'm just like, where was the guy that Stidham was absolutely ripping it to in the preseason?
He was with Stidham on the sideline.
Oh yeah, stock down. This one hurts. Michael Bandy, dude. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It's a bummer.
We didn't have anybody on the active
bro.
roster that could field the punt. We don't have anybody. We had to elevate somebody from the practice squad to get that. I know that is, that's very nitpicky, man. But man, Michael Bandy looked like me out there if I was trying to field a punt. That was not good.
I'm not gonna lie though, man. I kind of liked his little 16-yard catch that he had.
It was nice.
Maybe, and I was telling Jeremy, maybe because he was, he's running the Wes Welker number. He kind of reminded me of Wes Welker, but he brings a very different element to this wide receiver room. So obviously, I don't expect to see him much more this season, but I root for guys like him, man. And it sucks that he ended up, muffing a punt. But listen, when you win, all is okay.
Yeah,
that's right.
But yeah, Trent Sherfield played 8 snaps, and 7 of the 8 were for run blocking.
Dang.
I like his confidence. The fact that, it was a mistake and he messed up, but like, I said this yesterday to Mark, imagine you're on the practice squad. You've dedicated your entire life to being in the NFL and you're this close constantly. You show out every preseason, but you're not on the active roster. You finally get moved up. Do you really want to go, I'm going to get away from the punt, or are you going to try to make a play? He's trying to make a play, and that's he shouldn't have. And you can blame Rizzy, but like you can also say Rizzy might have. We don't know. We don't know the situations. Rizzy might have said stay away.
He's not earned the benefit of the doubt, Rizzy. So yeah, we can blame him.
Yeah, that's fine.
Click on the T-Fishes. Sean said something about someone comment.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I swear to God, I probably spent 20 minutes trying to figure this out, and I couldn't find it. Because they called the timeout, but you don't see it on the all 22, and you didn't even see what happened on the TV copy. So I have no idea who he was talking about. I was worried it was like Q Robinson or something, but I have no idea.
I was about to say, any guesses? Like, I know I'm not trying to get anyone in trouble or throw anyone under the bus, but any guesses?
Who do I not want on the team?
Well, no, and then I went back, and because I thought it was a timeout. Then I went back and listened to what Sean said again, and he said, when you're going out there with 10 guys, and there's supposed to be 11, the guy that was supposed to be 11th will change that person. So then it makes me think, okay, there was one play, and I don't want to go through and look at all the ones which one did we have 10 guys and try to match it up. But that would be the next puzzle piece if you wanted to figure out who was asking about if you want to go down that rabbit hole.
I think
I guess that's what happened.
Please do.
Was it on a punt? Do you know if it was on a punt or field goal protection or?
I thought he said punt. I thought.
Okay.
I would assume it's a punt.
Was it punt?
I think that would be a lot easier to figure it out.
Punt coverage or punt return?
See, that's a good question. No, there's
Yeah,
going to be
we don't
16
know.
plays to look at. There was 8 punts on each
I
time.
was, I was about to say, we saw Crawshaw and Townsend a lot yesterday, so I got my work cut out for me.
Yeah.
Right. I will say this though. There's no way A.T. Perry is muffing that punt. There's no way possible, man. A.T. Perry's dropping that punt, man. And A.T.
No.
Perry's taking that little pass in the flat out to the house, baby. A.T. Perry. I was devastated he wasn't activated yesterday. And we were lucky to win by only 3 points, not suiting him up. So
yeah, I agree. We're lucky we're 7-2 without him. Honestly, I think we'd probably be 8-1 if we had him playing.
I know, man. Shall we get into some giddy up or hold your horses, Jeremy?
Yeah, this is a perfect segue to my first question here. I'm going to give it to you, David. Sean Payton in that press conference said about the special teams, we're going to get it right or we're going to find someone who can, which is obviously a shot to about Darren Rizzi. Is he going to stay? That's his boy.
It was not.
You don't think that was about Darren Rizzi?
No, he made it very, very, very clear.
Oh,
very
no, I think he was backpedaling to
coaching.
save face. I think he absolutely meant
Yeah, I do too.
You think so? Well, but he might have, but he went out of his way to say, no, coaching is phenomenal. He said, though, that coaching is phenomenal, and that's when he started to talk about the players, which I didn't like. I actually didn't like that he was glorifying a coach and kind of throwing the players under the bus. But I felt like, sorry, I totally sabotaged
this. No, this is great.
No,
I feel like I feel like he very much made it seem there's no way in hell Sean Payton would fire Darren Rizzi. No chance. Which is unfortunate if he needed to be fired. But I do think it's still too early. But I think he was
okay, well, I'm gonna give it to Mark then because he just answered it.
Okay.
But like that, but that's well, that's the question is like, to me, he was so pissed about the special teams that he said that. But like in my head, I'm like, there's no freaking way he's firing Darren Rizzi. That's his boy.
Yeah.
They like waited for him forever for him to like, whether he was going to get the job and then come over and all that stuff. So yeah, I agree with you. And maybe Darren Rizzi is coaching it well and the guys aren't doing what they're saying. I don't know. We've had so many special teams coordinators that have come in and been like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then it's just been crap. And you're just like, what is happening? I don't understand. So, maybe it's a young team. Maybe it's a lack of veterans. Maybe you're not emphasizing certain things. I saw Traymon Smith on the other sideline making almost a miraculous play. And the other guy screwed it up for him. But like, maybe it's a lack of having those type of guys, but yeah. The Rizzi threat is not a threat and you're not buying it. So that,
well, I think after the game, I felt like maybe he was throwing Rizzi under the bus, but then today's call, he was like completely it's the players and kind of went after it. So yeah.
And maybe he learned some stuff over the day after talking to Rizzi and being like, what the heck? And then Rizzi's like, I said it, who knows?
I don't know. I just don't know what there is to learn, bro. I feel like special teams, it's so easy. Punt every punt out of bounds. And if you can't get guys that can tackle dudes, kick the ball out of the back of the end zone. It's so weird to me. I'll never understand it. Like, you should be just fine. I would literally punt every ball out of bounds, even if it went 30 yards. I don't care. Just punt out of bounds.
And the fact that Rizzi was one of the people that wanted to get the new kickoff rule changed. And then we're bad on that. Every time they kick off to us, I'm like, down it. If it goes in the end zone, down it. And then they took that away from us.
We all thought we would kill it on special teams this year with the new rules, man. And it's been our biggest liability.
Especially with Mims and Harvey on kick return. Like, how are we not housing at least like a 10th?
We can't block for anything on these returns.
Is Troutman out there blocking? Is that the problem?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. But
guys, I found it. Can I share?
Oh, you figured it out?
Yeah, I think if you hit present, you'll be able to
share it.
Let me pull it up here.
Yeah, maybe you're right, Richie.
Guys, count how many Broncos are on the field.
Oh my gosh.
There's 9 guys.
There's
there's 2 gunners though, right?
Yeah, there's 2 gunners.
There's
2
shit,
gunners. I didn't even see them. Hold on, maybe there is the hot.
Right?
Would there be 2 gunners? Let me see if I can change it to
one on each side.
Yeah, let's go to the sideline view. Probably. No, I gotta go to sideline view. Come on. Switch it. No.
Yeah, were we missing a couple gunners out there? Man, that's too funny.
That because it was funny because I just looked at the pump prior to that and they were all lined up, so it totally could have been a different lineup. All right, yep, there's two gunners. Carry on.
Yeah,
I'll try to find it.
Okay. Ah, man, what a
what a
tease.
Damn it!
tease! What a
Damn it,
tease!
man! I should have done my due diligence.
Okay, so that gets that question out of the way. We're gonna go. Kodiak, I got one for you. This is you brought up Talanoa Hufanga as one of your stock ups, no doubt about it. But this is the question, and it's very specific. For 2025, this season only, was Talanoa Hufanga the best offseason acquisition for this team? And I'm going to give you some other options real quick. You have J.K. Dobbins, who's been, I feel like, a million times better than we thought. You've got people like Evan Ingram, who's, for what the tight end position has been. You got Greenlaw, who had a really good game yesterday, hasn't shown that much. And then you have this whole rookie class who has also really contributed. Mm-hmm. But to you, is Talanoa Hufanga the best offseason acquisition for this season?
Yes. And here's why I say yes. So the only guy he's really competing with is J.K. Dobbins. And while J.K. Dobbins has had a phenomenal year and surpassed, I think, all of our expectations, I just want to break this down piece by piece. I told you guys a lot last year on my channel that PJ Locke was the biggest liability on the Broncos. Like, I was not happy with how he played at all. I thought the fan base, I think for whatever reason, this fan base had amnesia. Like, I remember in December, I feel like I saw people like every week be like, PJ Locke sucks. Then the offseason comes around and then nobody's talking about the fact that PJ Locke sucks. I'm just like, all right, I'll do it myself. Well, so the day we signed him, I made a huge film review about why, Talanoa Hufanga was, an amazing pickup for the Broncos. And, it's the same process that led them to signing Brandon Jones. You had a guy who was really good early on in his career. Then he got hurt a lot. Then you rely on what's been a great medical staff to keep him healthy or whatever. But yes, I do think Talanoa Hufanga has taken this defense to a huge level because I think about Hufanga. I think about him being clutch at the goal line yesterday. I think about him having a clutch PBU on the second to last play of the Jets game. I think about just so many things that he has added. He has truly taken this defense to a whole new gear. And while Dobbins has taken our run game to a whole new gear, I don't think it's necessarily taking the offense to a whole new gear, which is why I break the tie and give it to Hufanga.
I agree. But, I mean, there's a lot to choose from. I mean, RJ Harvey's had 4 touchdowns in 2 games. You got Pat Bryant is just absolutely balling out. And, I mean, obviously you're not going to give it to a punter, but Crashaw's been money this whole season. He just has. Even I was listening to the arena with Aqib Talib today, and he even gave Crashaw a shout out. And I mean, Aqib Talib is giving the punter and he said exactly what it was. When you're a good defense, your best friend is a guy who can flip the field. If the offense isn't getting it done, and now they have to start at the 20, like, you're not going to score on us. It was that game yesterday was so much about field position that when they were starting at the 40, 45, they were getting field goals. But when they had to start at the 20 or inside the 20, they weren't getting anything. And that was the difference, honestly. So that was such a huge game. Okay. Sorry, David, last question for you.
What about for Mark?
Well, remember Mark answered the Rizzy.
Mark stole
that's right.
I sabotaged your question.
But he had more information. So, all right, David, who is more responsible for the offensive struggles? Giddy Up Houston had a really good D, or it was the Broncos offense that was their problem?
I'm gonna give credit to Houston, man. They have a really freaking good defense.
Really good.
And I know we know the most about this team, right? So it's easy to always come here and talk about what's wrong with it or what didn't work, the path to perfection, right? But yeah, the Texans are coming in here into this matchup with the number 1 defense. And we're on the road, man. They played really great.
Yeah.
They should have won that football game. Let's be honest. When you hold an offense to 18 points, you should win.
Yep, but you had another great defense on the other side, and
That's
they did
right.
even better.
That's right. We got a defense that's just as good, baby,
If not-
and
well,
that's why we got the win.
One team gave up 2 touchdowns, the other team gave up no touchdowns, and that was the difference, right?
They couldn't
And
score
one
in the
team
red
has
zone.
Bo Nix, so
Dude, that goal line stand was amazing. That
2 goal line stances, like they got it to inside on the second drive too. So like, yeah, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, when they got to the 1, it was 1st and goal from the 1, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna punch this in, and then it was just like going against, a brick wall. It was super impressive, and that just shows you the character and the heart of the team. They're gritty on all, the offense is gritty for what they can pull out, but like the defense doesn't quit. And I loved my favorite thing is when there's a big at the end of the game, like that run that Bo had, to watch all the defensive players on the sideline, like celebrating and being like, because it's like they are helpless at that situation. If Bo Nix or the offense goes out and craps the bed, all of their like blood, sweat, and tears that they've given up all game long is for nothing. So like, I love the fact that they believe in the offense is going to get it done, which they have, but they're doing so much on their part. So yeah, it was great.
Mark, you think you found the culprit this time?
I think it was
Oh,
Q, guys.
geez.
I think
It was Q Robinson, the greatest special teamer
Yeah.
Nick Saban has ever
it was.
had.
So you guys tell me. You guys tell me if this is it.
Right.
All right. So we're punting, right? Currently we have 10. You'll be able to see. Oh, here comes Q. He's running. He's like, oh shit.
No, he's
right?
running late.
And then look. Bidet and Karene Reed, they're yelling at him here. They get all pissed. He's like, get back here, and then he just runs.
Oh, it was so late. Yeah.
And then look,
gotta be that, right?
Houston already has one of their like up backs or whatever free, or the long snapper's just completely free.
Yeah, so he's literally sprinting out there. He's like, "Shit, what do you want me to do?" He's like, "All right." It'd been really
Get to
funny
the
if he just
outside of
walked
us.
in. Yeah.
What timestamp was that? I want to make a video.
That was
We're in the game.
that was 1 minute left in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
That was the last punt of the game from the.
Wow.
Wow, wasn't even during the 3/4 special teams was god awful at.
Yeah, I was like, maybe they should just do that every time, like pretend like just run them off. But it obviously could not be. But if Q Robinson is inactive against the Raiders on Thursday, then you will know why.
That might be the
You heard it
case.
here first on Empower Hour.
Yeah. I do have a question for y'all. Like, I want to make my own giddy up, hold your horses, because I thought this was really interesting. People got really mad at me yesterday on Twitter when I told Andrew Mace, that he was wrong about something. Giddy up or hold your horses. Anybody can answer. Keep it brief, keep it long, whatever, if you want. Jaleel McLaughlin deserves another shot at being the Broncos RB3. The reason I tweeted at Mace, I was like, man, McLaughlin got his opportunity 3 weeks ago and absolutely barfed against the Jets. Yeah. And he was very, very pedestrian last year, and part of the reason why we had one of the worst running backs rooms in the league. But I want to hear what you guys think, because Bidet
I don't think he deserves anything. And I love Jaleel. He's one of those undrafted guys I root for. I don't think he deserves anything. There's no reason. He's given me no reason in 2 years of watching him to think that he deserves to be on the team. Like, if he was a good special teamer, fine. If he was a really good pass catcher, fine. He's doesn't play teams and he doesn't really catch the ball well. And yeah, I don't think his skill set is really missed. So it's always hard being really critical of like guys you genuinely like, but I totally agree with you, Kodiak.
I agree with you too. Like Tyler Bidet, like he played so well in that comeback that we absolutely needed to have plays, especially there was a 3rd and 5 where he had broke a tackle and then dove for it. Like I trust Tyler Bidet more than I trust, McLaughlin at this point. I'm sorry. And McLaughlin, like you guys said, I like him and I want him but there's one I trust more. Clearly there's one Sean trusts more, and he knows more than all of us. So
I don't know what Jaleel can do better than even Tyler Bidet. If you're just taking those two guys, Tyler Bidet is a better pass catcher. He's significantly better in pass protection. Okay, maybe he's a little bit quicker, but I think Bidet still makes plays. He can play punt return.
Yeah. I mean, was this past game Bidet's like only bad game of the year? I'm trying to think. Or did he have other ones?
Week 1 was really rough. He dropped 2 really big passes, one of which was on our opening drive of the season. Would have been a touchdown.
Did he have a bad game this game?
I mean, he had a drop to start.
He had a drop, and he took that fair catch on the kickoff where he wasn't fully in the end zone.
That's bullcrap. That was a bad call.
Yeah.
I don't unless he has to get set again, which is like that seems insane to me that you have to get set again. But like they paused it during the broadcast. He was completely in the end zone when he caught it and kneeled it. He didn't step out. He wasn't touching the line or anything. So I don't know.
Okay, I'll take away that last part then. But my point is, Tyler Bidet, okay, maybe a rough couple games, but outside of that, he's been a big time net positive in his role. So there's no reason to go away from it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Cool. I know we're running a little late for time right now, but I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on this game against the Raiders, like what you're hoping to see, what you're expecting to see, anything like that. And then I think we can close it off unless you guys got any other thoughts. Kodiak, let's start with you and work our way around, dude. The Raiders coming into town on Thursday. What does it mean? Go.
I know they played against Jacksonville yesterday, but it looks like Brock Bowers is back, which is a little scary.
Definitely back.
It looks a little scary, especially because, I mean, we did a phenomenal job on Brock Bowers in the second game last year. First game last year, he just completely mossed PJ Locke and just ran to the end zone on like the first play of the game. But the Raiders, I don't think they're as poverty as I would have thought coming into this week, but this is still a bad team. And the Broncos, for all the close games we've won lately, it's time we remind people who we truly are. Okay, we had Dallas a couple weeks ago, but what has this team done the past year and a half? Anytime there's a team that comes into a power field that you should beat, usually you beat the brakes off of them, and this should be no different, okay? Last year, the PS2 interception completely turned our season around, and yeah, now it's nice to see them back in Empower Field again, and we're going to be wearing the best uniforms in sports, and we played very well all 3 times we've worn those, so I'm expecting a pretty decent win here from us, but the Brock Bowers task, not to be taken lightly, especially without Surtain.
Agreed. Just to jump in, I'll say like this is one of those ones where it's the trap of traps, like it's a short week. You're playing a division rival who's down, and a lot of people are just going to expect a win. And this is really where you got to guard that. Like the good news about not playing your best football yesterday is that you're not feeling yourself coming into this game. Like this is another one of those where Sean's going to really be pissed, even though we won. And he needs to really, we need to make the rivalry against the Raiders like it was back in the day. Like we need to destroy them. But yeah, like PS2's out, and I always liked the thought of putting PS2 on Brock Bowers more than anybody else. So it's going to be interesting to see VJ's plan here. And, we're going to have to ice up a little bit, but they went in overtime. So they're on a short week as well, going on the road after playing an overtime game and a heartbreaking overtime game where they were like going for broke and they lost. So yeah, this is just one of those ones where everybody needs to be loud. Everybody needs to be up for it. No letdown. And, if we can get to 8-2 before a little mini bye before the Chiefs game, I'm not going to be complaining about anything like that. If you would have told me that, like you're 8-2, you're going against, and you have a 2-game lead against the Chiefs minimum, going into that game, that what else are you going to ask for? So just lock in, short week, do your stuff.
Mark?
Yeah, this game freaks me out, man. I hate playing the Raiders. I hate playing divisional games. They're always close. I think this is going to be another close game, and not just because division games usually are, Thursday night games usually are. Geno Smith, man, as bad as he's been this year, he always seems to play well against us. They got Jacoby Myers back as well, who's been somebody that's beaten us. Max Crosby always demolishes Mike McGlinchey. There's a lot of things that are really, really scaring me about this game. This is one where I really wish we did have PS2 because I think you get a lot more versatility. Now it's like, I don't know. We're going to have to see. I do believe that we'll win the game, but it makes me really nervous, man. I just don't like it. I was almost rooting for the Raiders to win against the Jags. Because I would
But
feel like maybe you got a team that's a little bit more relaxed coming in here.
what is the Raiders? What is their record right now?
They're like 2-6, I think.
Yeah, let me check.
I mean, they're getting real close to being like
they're
tankathon.
2-6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you got Tom Brady as like, you know, one of the owners now and all that kind of thing. And, you know, this is one of those games where if they lose it, you're almost like, are they going to start tanking for a big draft pick too? So they're right on that edge of desperation. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Dude, they're not even using Jack Bash, man. Not even using him. He's got 7 catches.
Let's trade for him.
Dude, this is crazy.
Crazy.
All right. Well, Jade Barron, time to grow up quickly, man. Going up against Brock Bowers. I guess to close, guys, I know that there's been a lot of people in the comments asking about trade deadline. What should we do? Maybe we could all close each with a trade we'd like to see the Broncos make tomorrow. It can be as unrealistic as you want. But I'll start.
Okay.
That's okay.
You had a great video. Check out David's video on this, by the way, too.
Yeah, it was popping off for some reason, you know, so that was cool. Awesome. But Mark, I got to steal your ID, man. I want Taysom Hill here.
I love it.
Yeah. The Saints don't need him. You can throw a 7th round pick or a 6th round pick and get him. Who cares about those late round picks if we're going to use them to pick punters and basketball players, right? So get Taysom Hill. He can fill in fine at tight end 3. He can block, he can pass, he can receive, he can run the ball. Why not?
He can fix your special teams, bro.
Yes.
He can fix your special teams single-handedly.
That's a great point, dude.
Well. He's a four-phaser.
So I think that he's an incredible value. He's a free agent after this year, and you can probably sign him for cheap with him going into his age 36 season, I think. So Taysom Hill. Jeremy, who you got?
Honestly, I don't have one specific guy. I guess if I had to pick anybody, it'd be like a TJ Hawkinson or somebody like that. I want a tight end. I want a big guy who can block. And sorry, Adam Troutman, but it just hasn't been good enough. And I just would love to have that compliment to Evan Ingram and to have a big target. I saw when Bo had, you know, Terrence Ferguson in Oregon, what he could do. And that would be my type of guy I'd really want for this football team. Now, I will say this. I think Sean and George are looking at this trade deadline like you don't want to ever go to Costco or you never going to go to the grocery store hungry, you know, because then you start buying everything. You start going, oh, that looks good. That looks good. Oh, what is that? You're not even looking at the price tag. You're just doing everything. You got to go to the store after you just ate and then be judicious about the way you shop. So I think that's what they're going to do. If the price is right and the deal is there to be had, then definitely do it. But don't get too over your skis with like, oh, you know, don't overpay for something because this team is very good. And, you know, if we correct the fact that we're 7-2 and we haven't played nearly our best football is amazing. So, you know, you also don't want to disrupt the chemistry either. So I think they'll be smart about it. But yeah, if I'm picking a position, it's tight end.
Mark?
Oh yeah. I don't know. I hate these kinds of conversations sometimes because I get my hopes up because there's so many guys that I would like. I just don't think that the Broncos are going to make a deal at all.
Yeah.
Personally, but I'm right there with you, Jeremy. I would love for them to stick in the tight end room. Somebody like Chigo Okonkwo, I'm really intrigued by because I think he's still young. You could have a potential solution for a while. It wouldn't be like a 1-year rental like maybe with Taysom Hill, but this guy has got like legitimate juice. And I feel like in a new, new change of scenery, he could actually be really, really good. Like he's still been a pretty productive tight end in a horrible offense. I just don't really think he fits at all what Sean Payton wants in his tight ends. So that would be one to keep an eye out on. Otherwise, if there's like a linebacker or maybe a depth inside lineman that you can find, I think that would be a real possibility too.
All right, Kodiak, wrap it up for us.
Well, you guys have I'm gonna keep the tight end conversation going because all I can say is that Adam Troutman is not a championship caliber tight end too, and I don't think Lucas Kroll or Nate Adkins. I mean, Adkins a little less so, but Kroll is not a championship caliber tight end 3. Even though is he done for the year? Or
Kroll?
I don't
Heard
know.
that, but I don't know if that's true.
I don't know, but either way, we don't have him for a long time. Honestly, he's somebody that I think this team can do without. I do want David Njoku. Here's why. Especially because of Harold Fannin emerging on Cleveland, they want all the draft capital they can get. I thought it was really puzzling that the Saints traded us their 4th-round pick when they were in complete free fall rebuild mode. But you know what? Hey, I've heard a lot of people say that could be a great spot to get a tight end this upcoming draft. And I'm just like, dude, we can't afford to wait. Our tight end problem, honestly, it still exists. Even though we signed Ingram, in my opinion, it's not solved yet entirely. And I feel like Ingram has been a little disappointing. So I want to trade for, that's the specific guy I had in mind. But if anybody else has any other solutions, that'd be fantastic. I just don't think, like Mark brought up Okonkwo. I think Sean Payton apparently, if the guy doesn't block, Sean Payton's not going to mess with him like that. But yeah, with Njoku, you just need a true inline guy. You need a true inline, not only mismatch, but a guy who can be physical, and David Njoku solves that problem.
Call him the Njoker. He'd be amazing. I
Yeah.
would love Njoku.
Dude, Luke Musgrave, Daniel Bellinger. There's a lot of guys that I would
Luke
love.
Musgrave, I felt like was a real possibility, but Tucker Kraft tore his ACL, so I don't think they're going to trade him.
Yeah.
Which really sucks for them.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
That's not cool of Fuckhoff calling the Raiders a bunch of incels. Come on. They're still good guys.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining another episode of the Horsepower Hour, guys. Again, please subscribe to all the channels. Links should be in the descriptions of all the videos if you guys prep before this. But real quick, Kodiak, got anything going on your channel this week?
Yeah, tomorrow, hopefully, I will put up I've kind of stopped doing these things during the week to focus on short form, but we need to talk about that horrible special teams performance. So look out for that.
Beautiful.
Your Denver Broncos put up one of the worst special teams performances I've ever seen. We had the Levi Wallace game last year. We had the Alex Singleton game week 2 against the Colts. 2 of the worst cornerback and inside linebacker performances I've ever seen. Yesterday was an absolute special teams disaster class. So I'm looking forward to breaking that down.
I got to ask you, how you been feeling about the long snapper? Is Fraboni doing all right?
Fraboni's doing fantastic besides that stupid-ass penalty. What are you doing?
Snap's looking good, though.
Can't say the same for Wattenberg.
No. No. That guy was never a long snapper.
He's not a short snapper either.
No. He's not. He's just not
Mark,
a snapper.
Anything else going on in your channel till Thursday?
No, we can diving into lots of the Raiders. We're going to do a lot of Raiders, videos, breakdowns, key matchups, things like that. And crazy, we got a game in 72 hours, guys. So
yeah, it's crazy.
It's gonna be fun.
About. I'm still sore from the game yesterday, and I didn't even play. I can't imagine.
Your heart sore?
Everything is sore, bro. Yeah, my heart, everything. My neck was hurting. I was freaking out. Yeah, but yeah, no, I appreciate it, man.
All right, cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining. We'll be back next Monday to talk about hopefully another Broncos victory and hopefully some Broncos trades, right? Wouldn't that just be fantastic? Chat, thank you. All the conversation. Trolls, thank you. You help push the show. Let's go. Be sure to smash that like and hype the video on the way out if you got a hype to use. We'll see you next week. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.